Hello everyone, my name is Oluwole Godwin and welcome to Emoji Economics. Today we shall be talking on utility maximization with budget constraints. Yes, utility maximization with budget constraints. Okay, so we know from our previous classes that a consumer maximizes his or her utility when the ratio of the marginal utility of two goods that he or she is consuming is equal to the ratio of their prices. Okay, so now we have a mathematical question and we need to verify our theory with this question. Okay, so our question goes thus. Mitchell has this utility function, so u is x raised plus 0.6, y raised plus 0.25 for popcorn and zobo. So popcorn is x and zobo is denoted by y. Okay, if the price of popcorn and zobo is 8 and 5 respectively, as a given budget of 680 naira, at what quantity of popcorn and zobo is her utility maximized? All right, so how do we go about that? First, I want us to all note that this utility function is simply the total utility function. Okay, so it gives the total utility, the total satisfaction that Mitchell derives from the consumption of these two goods. So we are going to look for where the total utility is maximized. Okay, so let's start. Okay, remember that we have this price, and then we have the income. So solution. Okay, so the utility function u, okay, Mitchell's matrix x and y, okay, equals x 0.6, y is equal to 0.25. Okay, so this is called the equation 1 and is referred to as the objective function. The objective function. Okay, so we now have this pxx plus pyy equals m. Okay, this is what we know as our typical budget constraint, equation 2. But in this question we have px, so px is price of popcorn is 8 and price of, okay, so we have 8x now plus 5y equals 680 naira. This is equation 3. So we have these budget constraints and we have this objective function. So whatever it is that we are maximizing or that we are minimizing, okay, that we are optimizing in general, because optimization is divided into two. You could be minimizing and you could be maximizing. Okay, in this case we are optimizing, and in essence we are maximizing our total utility. Okay, if it were cost, okay, under the theory of production and stuff like that, would have been minimizing cost. Well, okay, anyway, the two of them are still optimization. Okay, so whatever is the objective function is the function that we are trying to optimize. Okay, and in this case it is subject to these budget constraints. Okay, so we don't stop here. We write this as 680 minus 8x minus 5y, okay, which is equation 4. Okay, yeah, we are going to use this now. Okay, so we extend this equation. This now becomes u x y, that is the total utility function, equals x 0.6, y 0.25 plus the Lagrangian multiplier, okay, into brackets the budget constraint 680 minus 8x minus 5y. Okay, so this gives us equation 5. Equation 5. Okay, so what does the Lagrangian multiplier does? The Lagrangian multiplier, okay, which is this, tells us what happens to the objective function. Okay, if the constant in the budget constraints, and this is the constant here, okay, if the constant in the budget constraints rises or falls by 1 or any other amount. Okay, so the Lagrangian multiplier tells us the change that occurs in the total utility, okay, when there is a small change in the constant. Okay, here this is the constant, it carries no x, carries no y, and stuff like that, of the budget constraints. Okay, so we now have this. So what we have to do now is to find the partial derivative of what we already have here. Okay, so we start with x. So we have the u, the x. So this is we are differentiating total utility with respect to x. Okay, the u, the x. Okay, I want every one of you to note that the u, the x is equal to the marginal utility of x. is equal to the marginal utility of x. Okay, so we use the partial derivative because we not only have x in this equation, we also have y as well as the Lagrangian multiplier. Okay, so if it were a total derivative, it would have been this. It would have been this du dx. Okay, but since it is not total derivative, okay, so we just have to use this du dx equals this. So all we have to do now is to differentiate with respect to x. So from our calculus, knowledge on calculus, this becomes 0.6. Okay, x raised to power 0.6 minus 1. Okay, then we are not differentiating y, so we leave y the way it is. Y 0.25. Okay, then do we have x here? We have x. Okay, when we differentiate x, it becomes a minus 8. Okay, it becomes a minus 8. Now this minus 8 is not alone because there is the Lagrangian multiplier beside it, so it becomes a minus 8 then lambda. Okay, so the short form of this is called lambda. Okay, so we now have minus 8 lambda. Okay, so this is now our equation 6. This is our equation 6. Okay, so at the maximization point, we have to set this equation equal to 0. Okay, so at maximization point, or at maximization, okay, at maximization point, okay, du dx, okay, partial derivative du dx equals 0. When we do that, so we now have 0. 6 x 0.6 minus 1 is 0 minus 0.4, then y 0.25, okay, minus 8 lambda equals 0. Okay, so now we have 0.6x raised to power minus 0.4, then y 0.25 equals 8 and lambda. Now this is our equation 7. This is our equation 7. So we keep our equation 7 somewhere. Okay, now so we now have the u dy, okay, equals the marginal utility of y, which is our zobo, okay, then equals, okay, so now we have x raised to power 0.6, okay, because we are not differentiating with respect to x now. Then 0.25 comes here, 0.25, okay, y, then 0.25 minus 1, okay, so do we have y here? We have y minus 5, okay, so minus 5, and when we differentiate with respect to y becomes y raised to power 1 minus 1, so y raised to power 0, and then that's 1, so y is gone, so we have minus 5, but then minus 5 multiplied by something that's outside here, so we have minus 5, okay, and this, and our lambda. Okay, so the same thing, okay, to make this easier, so we now have 0.25, x 0.6, then y minus 0.75, and minus 5 lambda. Okay, so at maximization point, okay, so du dy equals 0. Okay, this is equation 8 equals 0. So what then do we have? We now have 0.25 x 0.6 y minus 0.75 minus 5 and lambda equals 0, and this becomes 0.25 x 0.6 y minus 0.75 then equals 5 lambda. Okay, and this is equation 9. Good. So what we then have to do now is to divide equation 7 by equation 9. Okay, so now to maximize, we divide equation 7 by equation 9. Okay, so when we do that, so what I want us all to note is that we'll be having the ratio of our marginal utilities. Okay, so we are in other words saying that we should do marginal utility of x divided by marginal utility of y. Okay, so when we do that, let's recall our equation 7. Okay, so this is what we have now. By the time we do, so this is equation 7, then this is equation 9. Okay, so first this would go, okay, this would go, and so 0.6 divided by 0.25, that's going to give us 2.4. So we have 2.4. Okay, so from our knowledge of indices, okay, so we have 2.4x. So you have raised to power minus 0.4. So because we have x as a denominator here, so we take the power as well. But now this is a division sign, so this means we'll be having minus whatever is coming underneath. Okay, from underneath, so minus 0.4, minus 0.4 that is here already. Then the division means a minus, so minus, and bring the power of this up here, 0.6. Okay, so let's do for y. Okay, so y 0.25. Okay, minus, all right, because of the division sign you have a minus, then it is coming with minus 0.75, so you have minus 0.75. okay, then everything now equal to 8 divided by 5 is 1.6. Okay, so we continue. We now have 2.4x minus 0.4 minus 0.6 minus 1, then y 0.25 minus, so it becomes a plus. Okay, so 0.25 plus 0.75, which is 1, equals 1.6. Good. Okay, so what we just have to do here is to divide through by 2.4. So when we do that, divide through by 2.4. Okay, so this cancels out here. We now have x, okay, raised to power minus 1, then y raised to power 1 equals 1.6 divided by 2.4, and that is going to give us 0.67. Okay, so x raised to power minus 1 is the same thing as 1 over x. Okay, so we have 1 over x, okay, y1 equals 0.67. So we cross multiply, so y now, y, okay, equals 0.67x, and that gives us our equation 10. Okay, so there we go. And then it remains one thing. Okay, we haven't found the partial derivative of lambda. Okay, so we find the partial derivative of lambda, and we have the u, okay, the lambda equals, okay, so this disappears. Okay, this becomes 1. Okay, because we have lambda 1 minus 1, okay, into brackets 680 minus 8x minus 5y. Okay, so okay, equals lambda carries the power of 1. Okay, so 1 comes here, and this becomes 1 minus 1. Okay, so 1 minus 1 becomes 0, and anything raised by 0 is 1. Okay, so all of these become 1, and then we have just 1 into bracket 680 minus 8x minus 5y. Okay, which is just 680 minus 8x minus 5y. Alright, so this gives us our equation 11. Okay, equation 11. Good. Okay, so we do the same thing. We do the same thing for lambda. So we set, okay, we set lambda. Okay, so at maximization points, the lambda equals 0, and in that case, so we now have 680 minus 8x minus 5y equals 0, in such a way that we now have 8x plus 5y equals 680. Okay, and that gives us equation 11. Alright, so let's continue. The next thing we have to do now is to substitute y equals 0.67x into equation 11. Okay, into equation 11. So we have substitute y equals 0.67x into equation 11. Okay, so equation 11 is 8x plus 5y equals 680. So it now becomes 8x plus 5 into bracket 0.67x equals 680. Okay, so now we have 680. We have 8x plus 5 times 0.67. Okay, that's going to give us 3.35x. 3.35x equals 680. So here we have 11.35x equals 680. Okay, so we divide through by 11.35. 11.35. Okay, x now equals 59.91, which is approximately 60. Okay, so this is what we have for x, that is for popcorn, as the maximization point. Okay, with the given the budget constraints. Okay, so 60 units of popcorn should be consumed. Okay, now let us find the units for Zobo. Okay, so we substitute equation substitute x equals 59.91 into the equation that combines y and x alone. Okay, equation 10 into equation 10. So we now have y equals 0.67x, 0.67 x. Okay, so we now have y equals 0.67 into bracket 59.91. Okay, so y equals 40.14, which is approximately 40. So 40 units of Zobo makes more sense than saying 40.14 units of Zobo. Okay, so this is what we have. Okay, then let us find out what the total utility is. Okay, so before that, let's find what our lambda is. Okay, let's find what our lambda is. So we can use either of equation 6 or either of equation 7 or equation we can use either of equation 6 or equation 8. Okay, so now let us recall equation 6. So when we recall equation 6, okay, so to solve for lambda, okay, so recall equation 6. Okay, it's actually equation 7. It's actually equation 7. So we recall equation 7. Okay, then this is what we have, 0.6 x and so on and so forth. We want to find lambda. So now we know what our x and y are. So this is now 0.6 into bracket 60 raised to power minus 0.4. Okay, then y is 40 raised to power 0.25. Okay, everything equals 8 lambda. Okay, so we have 0.6, 60 raised to power 0. Okay, so we have 0.6 into bracket 0.19. Okay, then 40 raised to power 0.25 is going to give us 2.51. Okay, so everything equals 8 lambda. Okay, so from there, when we multiply through, we have 0.286 equals 8 lambda. So we divide through by 8 and we divide through by 8. Okay, so lambda now equals 0.036. 0.036. Okay, so the interpretation of lambda simply means, okay, when the budget constraints, okay, the constant in the budget constraint, which is 680, increases by 1, for example, that is, it becomes 681. Okay, our utility, okay, the total utility is going to reduce, or is going to change by these units, by this amount, 0.036. Okay, so when this constant increases by 1, this would increase by 0.036. and when this constant reduces by 1, that is falls to 679, the total utility would fall by 0.036. So that is the implication of that. So now let us find the total utility. Okay, so we are looking for a total utility here now when we've had what the value of x is, that is the amount of popcorn, the amount of zobo, and then we still have our constraints. Okay, so find total utility. To find total utility, okay, recall equation 5. Okay, so now this is what we have. So total utility here now, u x comma y, okay, equals, okay, so what is x? X is 60 raised by 0.6. okay, and this is 40 raised by 0.25 plus lambda is 0.036, okay, into bracket 680, okay, minus 8 into bracket 60, and minus 5 into bracket 40. Okay, so we may just do this, okay, into bracket 40. All right, so by the time we do everything that is here, we have uxy equals 60 raised by 0.6. That's going to give us 11.67. Okay, then multiplied by 40 raised by 0.25. That's going to give us 2.51. Okay, then plus 0.036. okay, into brackets 680 minus, this is now 480, and this is now 200. Okay, so by the time we do everything that is here, we are going to be having 0. Okay, so now we have uxy, total utility of this, equals 11.67 times 2.51. That will give us 29.29 plus 0.036 into brackets 680 minus 480 is 200, then minus 200 is 0. Okay, so all of this disappears, and then the total utility now is 29.29. okay, so that is what we have. So to maximize utility, Michelle has to consume 60 units of popcorn, 40 units of zobo, and at those units, she's going to be enjoying a total utility of 29.29. If she refuses to consume those combinations, that is 60 of popcorn and then 40 units of zobo, our total utility is going to fall. Okay, it doesn't matter what the combination is, as long as we are talking about a given budget constraint. Okay, our total utility is going to fall if he consumes every other if she consumes any other combination of x and y that is different from what we have solved here. Okay, so that is the implication of all of this. Now we have to take this a step further, okay, by depicting all of this on a graph. Okay, on a graph. So in order to draw a graph, okay, that will be showing Michel's indifference curve as well as our budget constraints, we need to revisit the budget constraint and try to plot the budget line. Okay, so here this is our budget constraint revisited, 8x plus 5y equals 680. So now let's assume that Michelle is consuming popcorn alone. She wants to spend all of her money on popcorn alone and nothing on zobo. So we say let y equals 0, that's let zobo equals 0. Okay, so now we have 8x equals 680. 8x equals 680. So we divide by 8 and then we divide by 8. So 8 is going to give us x is going to give us 65. X is going to give us 65. Okay, then let's assume now that Michelle is willing to spend all of her money on zobo. She doesn't want to buy any popcorn. So we say let x equals 0. So now 5y equals 680. So we divide through by 5. We divide through by 5. So y equals this is 1, this is 3, and this is 6. So the maximum amount of Zobo that Mitchell can consume, given the price of Zobo and her income, okay, is 136, provided that she is not consuming any units of popcorn. Okay, so let's depict this on it. Okay, when we depict our result on the graph, so this is what we have. This is a graph of Mitchell's utility at our budget constraints. Okay, so we have the maximum points on the y-axis, which is 136, and the maximum point on the x-axis, which is 65, what we got from our calculation here. Alright, so all we just have to do is to draw our indifference curve to intersect these points, the points where our consumer Mitchell, okay, maximizes her utility, and that is where she consumes 6 units, okay, 60 units of popcorn, okay, and then 40 units of Zobo. Okay, so this is how we depict it. This is our difference curve. Remember that a consumer maximizes utility when the slope of the difference curve, okay, the slope of the budget line, or where the budget line is just tangential to the indifference curve. So this is what we have for Mitchell. Okay, now I want us to know something. We need to go back to something, okay, quickly for us to have a very good view. Okay, so here recall when equation 7 was divided by equation 9, okay, so this is equation 7 being divided by equation 9, okay, so this, if you recall this is marginal utility of x, that is the u, the x, partial derivative of u and x, okay, so we can as well write this as the marginal utility of x, and this actually is the marginal utility of y, so this is marginal utility of y. But if you remember that this is actually the price of x, the price of popcorn, okay, px, because lambda has cancelled out lambda, and this is the price of Zobo, okay, py. Okay, so which is what we've always had, that okay, a consumer maximizes his or utility when the ratio of the marginal utilities is equal to the ratio of the prices. Okay, so we've come to the very end of this class. I know you might have questions, okay, so leave them in the comment box, and remember to like, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for automatic updates. See you next time. Thank you for watching.